Warm greetings to all participants from India and across the globe on this lovely Friday evening, a very auspicious day, the culmination of the very religious Ashti festival today. And today we are launching People's Podium powered by LBN Tech Solutions. And along with All Ladies League Digital Marketing Chapter, we are happy to host our 19th session, but the very first for the new platform, People's Podium. And I'm so happy to have a very eminent, multifaceted personality, Kalaimamani Vasantha Vaikunth. Here with us. Welcome, Vasantha.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
With your presence at this inaugural session, I'm sure this platform will take off exceedingly well.
Thank you.
And today's topic for the session is healing through dance. Bharatanatyam, the classical form of dance, which was earlier actually known as Sadiratam, is actually 2000 years old, and Bharatanatyam, people say, is an acronym for Bha for Bhavam or expression, Ra for Ragam or medium, and Ta for Talam or rhythm, which combine to make Natyam or dance. Vasantha Vaikunth is very well known, and there is so much to say about her accomplishments, but a little brief about our esteemed speaker before I hand over the floor to her. Vasantha is a classical dancer trained in Bharatanatyam and has done more than 100 shows all over the world. The Center for Performing Arts was a landmark in the Gulf countries for Indian and art and culture that won her the award of Bharatiya Pravasi from Government of India. She is a recipient of Kalaimamani Award from Tamil Nadu government, Kala Vidushi from USA, Cultural Ambassador of India from Oman, and Acharya Kala Vepanchi from Dr. Balamurali Krishna. She was conferred the title of Cultural Ambassador of India for her ability to spread Indian arts and culture abroad. She expounds the Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta, and I've heard her personally, to suit modern living styles. A fantastic motivational speaker in corporate houses and universities, and a multifaceted person wearing several hats. She's also an accomplished psychologist, and now she's fulfilling her real purpose in life through her online NGO, Life Living, www.lifeandliving.org. Please check that out. And she extends emotional support to people in the form of online counseling, totally free of cost. Welcome to the show, Vasantha.
Yeah, thank you, Megha. Thanks a lot.
We will start with the basics. Healing through dance sounds so therapeutic. There are so many people who are looking for some method of healing in this world. So do classical art forms, especially dance, like Bharatanatyam, do they have a purpose to serve the humans?
Yes, actually, should I start?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. When you talk of classical dance, it's something that very ethereal for me because I think there is a definite purpose in the early centuries, almost you can say 10,000 years ago, as recorded. Now, Natya Veda or the Shastras is known as the fifth Veda in the Puranas. When I say the fifth Veda, the reason is that after the four Vedas, whom the celestial bodies or the Devas, they mastered it and they acquired it from Stuti. The art form or the fifth Veda, which was the dance, was created by Lord Shiva and Parvati, as explained in the Puranas. Because they must have done it long time ago, but what the recorded one we know is from the Puranas. So why they did this, the fifth Veda, for the Devas? That's a question. The question is very simple, that the Devas also were subjected to mental imbalance. Like sometimes, I know, as you would have seen, that Lord Indra got distracted and he got jealous and he used to use his own methods to take revenge. So there were many celestial bodies who got distracted mentally, and to bring them back to their balance and harmony, there was only one way, that they can do is through dance. They felt that the dance is the only way that can bring back the healing effect for the devas. I'm talking about the celestial bodies. And then
Please call and tell.
this kind of art form, like we say, there are 108 karanas, as we call it, according to Bharata Shastra. But I would also like to say that 108 number, what is that? Why do you say 108 japas, japamalas, 108 of of avatars, of incarnations, 108 karanas in dance, and all these things is because on Sri Yantra, we say there are points. That is the mantra. It's not a mantra. It's, you can say, the marma, we call it, and where three lines, three kind of lives interact, and there are 54 such intersections. I'm repeating, where three lives interact, three lives and lines interact, and there are 54 intersections. And each intersection has masculine and feminine qualities, which represent Shiva and Shakti. And 54 into 2 equals 108.
Ring up and tell.
Now, there are 108 points that define the Sri Yantra as well as the body. Now, everybody knows what is Sri Yantra. So, even your body has 108 points. So, it is again a healing experience for human being through your dance. Now, later, we trace the practice of dance in the temples after the Dipardana. We'll talk about it a little later in a while. But those dancers were called Nitya Sumangali. Now, Nitya Sumangali is eternal Suhagan, the eternal one, a woman who always remains a Suhagan. So, Nitya Sumangali. And I'll talk about again Nitya Sumangali a bit later. And this mention has to be made at this point because the Dipardana was done by the Devadasis. And Devadasi means one who serves the Lord, one who only remembers the God, one who thinks about the Lord. Now, I have to tell you something more interesting than this is there is Abhinava Gupta. It is very interesting to note that today we are able to celebrate 1000th birthday of Abhinava Gupta, who is from Kashmir, who wrote commentary on Natya Shastra while the Cholas were making sculptures in South Indian temples speaking on Karanas. How interesting is that? And the static, I mean, when you talk about I talk about the sculptures and you talk about the dance, you talk about the precincts of the temple, all these things are getting into a mood of the piousness and the worship and the spiritual upliftment. Now, the Devas, I'm coming back to that, when the Devas realized that they need to connect to their soul, they need to connect to harmony and peace, and that's how they learned how to dance. They learned how to get the steam out of their mind. I'm not. I mean, this is not. I'm not saying this. This is in the Puranas. Now, dancing is very special, as it stimulates your cognitive mind, for sure, because every dancer who has been practicing dance or who has been thinking about dance or talking about dance or listening about dance, they all have a purpose and they are timeless and they have no age. They never grow older. They're always they are always in the world of their own. They live in a zone, which is like a space, which they take it on their own to enjoy the peace. Now, when we talk about this, we have to talk about the kinetic energy. So when I talk about the kinetic energy, that is, we call it the sthiti and the gati. but the kinetic energy and the spiritual energy and the aesthetics, all these three aspects have to merge if you want to dance. Now, coming to a very mundane, basic level of dance, you know what? How people relate to dancing today. When I say how do they relate to dance, it's not just the body movement or the theme or just the music or something that's going on the stage. It's not about that. It is the core, the aesthetics core. Now, you know, a lot of people ask me, so you think everybody can dance? Everybody can do this? So I said, yeah, you can dance. Everyone can dance. There is a space and time for everybody, but there is something called the merging of kinetic energy, that is the physical, and there is something called spiritual. And the spiritual and the kinetic energy, they blend together. And when they blend together, there is a healing element to this. Now, same way, we need to understand the huge aerial view of life. Just like the aerial view of life, you also have the aerial of space and emotions. And a dancer, a person who is interested in dancing would always explore more than what actually meets the eye. So they kind of, you know, like the movement, the liberation, they have to get liberated from themselves in order to enjoy the experience of dance. And while executing even simple adavers, the contrast movements, like, you know, for example, like you say, when I say the contrast, you know, the contrast body movement is so important. And I feel that it can be connected to the fact that it's a kind of an experience that is unmatched. Like, you know, when I say that the curves and the movements and the straight lines. Now, just like in life, you have to have both the good and the bad, the good experience and the bad experience, the good emotions and the bad emotions, and the alternately it comes in everybody's life. And when those things come into life, that's what makes your life very interesting. So, for example, in dance, like, you know, we say that I'll just say one kind of a symbol, you know, like a syllable, like tatittana kujam, takatittana kujam. That is like, you know, there is a contrast. You know, that's what makes the program, that's what makes the stage very interesting, because one is a stern kind of an expression and one is very soft. So we say that the adavers also go according to the life concept. And the life concept is always there is what do you call it, contrast emotions of happiness and sorrow and pain and pleasure. It's the same thing while you're doing your movements in dance. So now it merges, like that is what invokes the aesthetic joy. When I say the aesthetic joy, something that, you know, like when you see a dance performance, like nowadays, I find that, you know, not nowadays, it's been quite a while that I've been watching, that people, when they dance, the dancer should be focused on the spiritual aspect of dance. Now, that is kind of a vibration that gets passed on to the audience and to the viewers. Like, you know, like Bharata Muni says, it's a rasikas. Like if I have to play, if I'm dancing for the rasika has to travel with me. I'm not separate from him. So that kind of a thing, that is very important, that for a dancer, and that gives me a healing experience. And we as dancers have to elevate the audience spiritually. That's the way to do it. And there is a healing experience after every dance performance. Like people used to ask me that, you know, what do you think? How do you manage to dance for 2 hours? without a break. I said, that's what gives me energy. That's what makes me strong. And that's what makes me happy. And I'm blessed to start my lessons from very, extremely expert kind of teachers. Although I'm from Bombay, but I had the fortune of learning the Valur Bani from Halingam Pillai, and the unchallenged guru who taught us the beauty of executing this divine art. And I had the opportunity to learn my adavas even from Valvur Ramaya Pillai for some time. And I think a true legend who set standards of aesthetics in Abhinaya, in mudras and adavas. I mean, Valvur Ramaya Pillai was one of the main teachers who went into aesthetics of dance. Like people perform, but when people perform, it's very, he used to tell us that, like it's not a straight line, Amma. It's not a straight line. Your body cannot be on straight line. It doesn't do natural. It doesn't go natural. He used to say that allow your body to flow, like just come from within. It has to blend. It has to blend with yourself. And that is what is the elevating experience. And of course, I will be talking about my experience a little bit later. So I will explain to you that how it happened to me. So you need something, but he used to tell me that all adverse and everything you can do, but you need something that takes you to the next level. And what is that next level is your own inner personality. Like today everybody learns dancing, everybody is teaching dance, but that's not what we are looking for. What is actually dance is it has to come from within. It has to reach the audience. Now I'm going to talk a bit about, then I will give you over to uh, you. Every dancer will experience the innermost bhakti while performing this beautiful art form, for sure. Now, music, dance, astavinaya go together, same as mind, soul, and body of the dancer. That's for sure. Now, the Saptaswara, we have to speak about the music at that time. Say the Saptaswara, the seven swaras of music, are the healing effects for a human body and especially for dancers. Says without music there is no dance. Nobody can dance without music. But the seven swaras like sari, sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa touches seven nerve centers in the body and invoking seven chakras in the body that connects with the emotions. Now, sa releases the body, it releases the block of fear. Sa, if you really, you close your eyes and listen to the sa in the mid-thigh, you will realize that how it invokes the happiness by breaking the fear. And you come to invoking the sa and then re, sa, re touches the guilt. So it removes the guilt and takes you to a proper condition. And then you have the ga, touches your willpower. It is a chakra. So willpower is touched by ga, and ma is for love. Like I would say that Madhyama Shruti, sometimes we sing in Madhyama Shruti, and Madhyama Shruti gives you the melody. It's a passion that comes from Madhyama. And then pa is for the truth, and that is the balance. And then dha is again for insight. And ni is for happiness. And sa in the male sthai is for cosmic energy. Now, all these different types of different saptaswaras are very important, very essential for us to be invoked. And they give you the healing experience forever. And without music, there is no dance, and without dance, there is no music. They are all intertwined. Uh, and that brings, we need to keep body and mind in place to achieve this aesthetic joy. Because without aesthetics, nothing, no art forms can thrive. Over to you, Megha.
Thanks, Vasantha. That was a lot of information, and I'm sure the viewers are trying to assimilate all that. One thing which strikes me when you said that it has to come from within. How wonderful is that? I'm reminded of a dialogue in the famous movie Tillana Moganambal,
Yes.
where Sivaji Ganesan tells Manorama asks Sivaji Ganesan, how come the music will that kind of divine music come from this Nadaswaram also? So then Sivaji Ganesan takes the Nadaswaram and plays beautifully in that other Nadaswaram, her
Yes.
Nadaswaram, and he says, music, it doesn't matter. The Nadaswaram, it doesn't come from the Nadaswaram, it comes from the Nabi Kamalam. Okay,
Yes.
meaning it comes from within. So I think you've conveyed that and a whole lot of information, 108 Karanas and the Sarigama Padani. And before we go further into the depth of, I'd like to know about your personal experience. I'm sure there must have been some cathartic experience you must have had for you to believe in this journey, healing and journey, and your dance journey in specific. So can
Uh,
you throw some light on that, Vasanta?
yes, it's been a very interesting journey of mine. I think I started learning how to dance from the age of 5, but I had to give it up when I was 12. When I was 12 years old, as I had developed some kind of a medical issue, medical problem, and I had to quit. And with something that it used to hurt me every time I went to dance class, but I didn't express to anybody because I just didn't want to leave my class. But I think one fine day it just happened that my parents said that dance is not going to be for you. You just have to quit, and then we'll concentrate on some other thing. So I think I shed some tears, but then I was too young to understand what was going on. So then I learned veena and music for 8 years, and dance was not even the scene, not even in the scene for me. But there was always a longing. But that longing was such that every time I would witness a dance program, I would come back home and cry, because I used to think that why am I not able to do this? I have to come back to it, but I never got back. But well, I think when I just got married and I went off to Muscat, then I started looking at the dance, like promoting the dancers. And during such time that I met Sudha Chandran, who did not have one foot, one leg actually. So then she came and stayed with me, and she told me that how can you just ignore something that you love most? I think that I can dance without my foot. I think you can do it right away. So I said, but then I don't know how I'm going to handle this. So anyway, to cut short my story, I went back to
ये
Chennai.
लाइट ऑन कर दो.
And when I went back to Chennai, I realized that the whole world is open for me. And I went to Adya Lakshman first and revived my Adavas. And I did not even think that I I had this problem. I had this medical problem at that time when I went to learn, when I went to revive my dance. And the person who made me actually stay with her was Chitra Visweswaran. She was more like a friend to me, and then as a teacher. So I think she helped me revive the whole thing. And the best part was I never got the pain back. I never got it at all. And then I used to wonder, maybe I'll get it again. So maybe I should take care. I should not do this. I should. Then I went to and visited my doctor, and the doctor said that it's incredible. I don't think you should dance, and because it's going to be dangerous for you, because you have that extra bone growth and you have this and you have that. But let me tell you that till today, I am still performing, I am still dancing. And if I owe this to the Almighty and my feeling, my attachment, my medium to spirituality, which is dance. And I think all the temples, I don't think there's any temple left out for me to dance. I gave so many performances till today. God bless me that I can still dance for an hour for sure. Thank you.
That's so inspirational, Vasantha. Uh, so I was, just recalling what you were saying. I mean, Adayar Lakshman and so many inspirational people have guided you. And Sudha Chandran, of course, who can forget Sudha Chandran when she can dance and the inspiration just comes. And over the years, you've done so much. And friends, you must, check out Vasantha's YouTube channel. She has spoken about so many topics, so many spiritual topics, and even there is a lot about dance also. So we'll share all the handles on the chat box. So please like and tag hashtag Vasantha Vaikunth, hashtag Life and Living. And if you have any questions, you can put them on the chat box. I think some questions have already come, but that is for later. Moving on to the next question, I'd like to ask you about the spiritual elevation which happened for you, Vasantha. Because of this spiritual elevation, you were saying that you were able to understand the religious scriptures better.
Yeah.
So how were you able to connect?
See, I mean, when you talk about I don't differentiate between dance and spirituality, at least not me, because for me, that is my greatest experience. And also, I think when I was dancing, I was giving a performance in Narada Gana Sabha in Chennai during the music festival. Some people were wondering that, my God, look at her confidence. I don't know how she managed it, how she's managing to get these Sabha performances. And she's just come back and she's not been in the field for too long. But I have to share this experience. When I finished the performance, and Chitraka was doing the Natvangam for me. And at that time, there were like about 15, 20 people who rushed onto the stage after I danced for, after I finished my dancing, Ne Namamundre Podado, Karagara Priya, and they all ran to the stage and they said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." They said, what is this you did? You have created an emotion for us and we feel so emotional seeing your dance. And I was very stunned because I said, I don't know what did I do. So I just feel that spirituality, or kind of I'm entwined with the divine when I dance. The moment I start dancing, I am with the Lord, I am with the Almighty. I don't see the audience, I don't see who is looking at me, I don't see who is doing my orchestra, I don't see my costume. And in fact, I remember that my earrings dropped on the stage. And that's the time, like I was, I didn't know what to do, but then I forgot about it. And Chitraka came at the end of the show. She said, "You did the best thing by not reacting to it, and you just danced and danced and danced." And she was so happy. And I thought the best compliment I received was in Narada Gana Sabha and in academy when I danced. People said, "You have some guts to do all this." I said, "It's not my guts. It is my spiritual experience. It is my spiritual feeling that when I dance, I just dance. That's it." And then I got healed. I said, after doing all this, and my mother asked me, says, my mother was not too happy with all this because she says, "I don't know why you're taking such a risk with your feet." I said, let me let me see if I experience any pain, then I will go to the doctor. But touch wood, till today, I think the spirituality is my thing through dance. And then one more thing is, in dance itself, when I spoke about karanas, there is something called sthiti and gati. I relate to that a lot. Sthiti is in Karana, is your posture, and you have your posture in the form of in form of different postures. But the basic posture of the Karana is your Aramandi, for example. And when we dance, when we are moving in Aramandi, that is, you're acting in Aramandi, is something else because your sthiti is divine, and carrying that divinity, you are, you know, making the movement. So, like Dr. Padma Subramaniam used to say, that it's a dynamic, it's a static and dynamic movement, which means you're in the sthiti and you're moving in gati, in the state. So I relate that to my soul. I think that is what that's how I react, Megha, to the spirituality, that is your soul, which has to be a position, and that position, that kind of a tuning should exist like a tanpura. Like, just like, you don't want to go out of beat, out of your tune when you're singing. You need the tampura at the background. The same way, when I do my action in life and society, I need this titi, the position, the divine connection is important. Thank you.
Mm. Like people say that, dance like no one is watching. I think that has a lot of meaning when you relate to your personal experience. So the wannabe dancers who are watching, probably, once you reach the stage, there should be no stage fear. I think that's your advice. Just,
Yeah. No,
dance
you
for
just
yourself.
forget yourself. That's it.
Yes, forget yourself and join with the spiritual feeling. And the sthiti and gati, sthiti, stillness, pause, gati and motion. You have expanded it so beautifully. And moving on to the next question, I know it's an ocean. Suppose you want to heal, you want to type on Google healing and dance. What appears, which phrase appears? It is mudra healing. I know
Yeah.
mudra healing is a webinar by itself. It's an ocean.
Yes.
But can you just, just an overview of what mudra healing is all about and their power? I'm sure the audience would love to hear that.
Yeah. See, mudras, handful of emotions, actually. The human hand is the most evocative part of the body. Now, gods and goddesses, the devas, also speak to us through their hands. Now, for example, Varada Hasta of Vishnu. It's depicted in the temples, it's depicted everywhere. And Abhaya Hasta of Shiva then gives us protection, and Durga holds the Trishul with her hand. It is an assurance of victory of good over evil, and Kama holds the arrow, flowers, and Saraswati holds the Jnanam through Veena and Vedas, and Lakshmi holds the lotus that guarantees auspiciousness, and potters make their pots, artists paint, and many more. In all these activities, there is music, song, and rhythm. What makes it divine? How does it make it divine? And the mudras has actually, it is more than your physical, just the mudras of, either this or there is Alapadmam, there is Kadakamukam, there is Suchi, there are 27 mudras, single mudras, and there are many more double-handed gestures as well. But all these gestures are given to us, are passed on to us, not just like that. Just like that, you come and dance with these mudras. These mudras have a meaning, and the point also has a healing effect. Now, how do I connect with these mudras? Very important. Now, your prayerful attitude, like in life as well, that the prayerful attitude to the action and a feeling of devotion and surrender. So all, like, we say we go to the temple, we most of the time we pray for something or the other. Like we say, please God give me this, God make this all right, please God give me a house, let me do this, let me do that. But in dance it's different. You're not supposed to ask them. You're not supposed to ask for anything. You're supposed to give. And you're giving, what are you giving? Actually, you're giving the aura or aura of spirituality to the audience. And when you're using the mudras or the language of the gestures or the body alignment, balanced postures, eye movement, expressions are all oblations to create the fire or healing energy from within. Now, for example, we can even talk about the Swadi Tirunal Varnam Sumasayaka, that Sumasayaka Viduram Avamadava Sudatim Hadi Deenam. So, how do I use the mudras here? Sumasayaka is like the Manmada with his bow and arrow. His arrows are touching my heart. But when I'm using it, the whole body and the posture and your eyes and your face, everything has to move and depict in a way that a dancer will enjoy the dance. Now, usually in today's time, when the dancer does her program or he does his program, they kind of I sometimes get the feeling that they are so conscious, very conscious of their existence on the stage. So what happens is that they are not able to reach that mudra effect because the body is moving with calculation, the face is moving in calculation and not connected to music. And your music is very, very important while you're expressing your mudras in dance. Yeah.
So the importance of the hands, for me, I just cannot talk without using my hands. And now we know the benefit of all these mudras, just a non-verbal communication, an external expression of inner resolve, right? So you just mentioned about music. Actually, my next question is about music. Most of the songs of Bharatanatyam are from the Carnatic music genre. Should the singer, like a layman, I ask this question, should the singer sing a kriti or a varnam or padam differently for a dance performance rather than for a vocal stage performance? Many lines are repeated several times. For the uninitiated, it may sound, why are they repeating it so many times? These lines are repeated many times for a dance performance, but I'm sure it is just, there is more to it than just mere repetition. So singing for dance, can you throw some light on that, Vasantha?
Yeah, certainly, because I think music, singing for dance is an art by itself. Because I think the musician is supposed to sing for the dancer so that the dancer reacts to the musician. And that's one thing. And the second thing is the music that you or the way you sing it for dance has to go with the abhinaya of the dancer. Like you say, like for example, you say that Vargalamo Ayya. I'll just say, so it says Vargalamo Ayya. That expression, the musician also has to, I'm not a great singer because my throat is not good, but I can tell you that the singer has to sing in a way that, can I please, Lord, let me in to take your darshan. That should be the value of it. Not like say, knock the door and say, please, may I come in? So unfortunately, in today's world, what happens is that the musicians, they are singing for I guess that's the trend, but they sing for so many people, so many dancers. So they keep a paper in front of them and they are singing looking at the lyrics, which itself I'm not in favor of. I think you should be thorough in your music, in your words, in your lyrics, and you should be extremely attached to the movements of the dancer. I remember sometimes when we dance, we just go little bit more emotional, and then we would want to express, for example, a short story in the dance. So the musician will be calculating the number of times, but they will not be looking at us. But I remember Madurai Sethuraman sir, who used to sing for me, and I remember the best concert I have ever enjoyed was in Padmanabha Kshetram, Padmanabha Swami Kshetram, where I danced for the Navaratri and organized by the royal family of Travancore. So when I was quite nervous because they are all connoisseurs and authority on dance. And then I had to do all the Swadi Tirunal items, all the dances that they created we had to do it. So there was no mic, there were no lights, there was only lamps, the huge lamps around, and the gentle breeze outside and drizzling outside. And here the musician, I think it's very difficult to find singers like Madurai Sethuraman sir. He sang in such a way that we were floating, absolutely, we were floating on a different level. And I think I broke down in tears by end of the program that day. So that is the kind of music that I'm talking about. It's not about, coming and sitting on the stage and the dancer says, please remember, you have to sing for 5 times, you have to repeat for 10 times. That doesn't work. Those kind of stuff, they don't work at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people get bored,
Yeah, that's right.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So now we can understand actually that a singer can actually make or break a performance. It's so
Yes,
important.
absolutely. Very
Yeah,
important.
I've actually read an article where Sudha Raghunathan says about singers for dance give energy to dancers who give
Yes.
energy to you while performing. And be subtle when you see a dancer doing slower and subtle movements and modulate your voice accordingly. I think you mentioned that.
Yes.
The song also has to go, there should be a harmony between the singers as well as the dancer.
And even
Singer
the
has to
even
keep
the
on watching.
percussion, even mridangam,
Mridangam too, yes.
when what I find is I feel that there has to be clarity in the lyrics, the presentation of the lyrics, and the presentation of the ragam, and the mridangam should not dominate. And I find nowadays I don't understand the dance at all because the mridangam, the person who's playing the mridangam, he's playing it randomly, and the
Okay.
dancer is also doing her jatis or movements or footwork or something like that, but there is no connection. Unless there is an aesthetic connection, unless there
Yeah.
is a bonding, I think dance is a failure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So it is a teamwork, definitely.
Yes.
So, friends, Vasantha has written a book on spirituality in dance, and for that she has done a lot of research spanning several years. And this book was available in Amazon, and the book elaborates on temple traditions and Devadasi Murai. So, and Vasantha was telling me that she has actually met the Devadasis in Chidambaram Nataraja temple. So, Vasantha, how do you say that Devadasis were the true custodians of this art form?
Uh, yes, actually, I would say that because in my book, I went to these temples, I spoke to them, I stayed in those streets of Chidambaram. I experienced all that, and I felt that they are the true custodians because as a dance, even the temple as a dance, as a temple art form, is something very unique. And as I mentioned earlier, the Nitya Sumangalis, like they were wedded to God. They had no other life. They could not think of anything else other than being in the temple. And they were actually married because there is a ceremony for them, and they get married to the gods, and that's how they lived. That was their existence. And when they did that, there was a tradition those days that any good function in the royal family or any family, these Devadasis were invited to open the ceremony, number one. And number two, they were called to give a healing effect to the people. They had a healing effect. They had that kind of ability to heal people. They had that kind of spiritual power. And they achieved this through the dance. And now I have to make a mention of this because since I used to travel a lot abroad for my dance shows, and I was, of course, there were those highway or high level days when I used to be a busy artist performing all over the world. I still felt that each place I went to, like Spain or like Italy or France, I thought that the old churches also they were pagan worshippers, and they were also related at that time to music and dance. And I'm talking about Egypt. When I went to Egypt, when I saw these old tradition in Egypt, I found that it was a pagan worship. There were sun god worshippers, and there was dance and music in their kind of worship as well. So I would definitely say that there is no other medium in this world other than classical art form that originates in India from our heritage as a true transcending kind of an experience for everybody, provided you know how to use it, how you perform, how you actually do it. That's what creates a thing. And also, when you talk about the thematic presentation, like even for the Devadasis, even for us, the thematic presentation is involved with Deviga Purushas and the Devis. And when you are talking about the Deviga Purushas, they are very pious and very pure. And when you are very pure and pious, there is an energy that develops inside from within you, which has to be pious. If I'm, for example, when I'm doing a role of Rama, I have to be connected with the character of Rama. It is not like films or drama that we present today, where dance is different. But unless I merge with the emotions of Rama, unless I merge with the emotions of Sita, unless I merge with the music that they are giving it to me and the rhythm, I cannot transcend this mundane feeling. And definitely, for sure, that kind of expression, that kind of feeling, that kind of healing technique is imbibed in our old art forms.
Yes, such an old art form, Bharatanatyam is, and how has it evolved today in the times of Ilangovadigal when Silappadigaram was actually written during the Sangam age? He talks about Kovalan when he first met Madhavi in a dance performance, and I believe he has written, in great detail about the stage, the size of the stage, the number of green rooms, the dimensions of the stage, and in fact the distance between the stage and the first row. Such a wonderful art form, and we were pretty advanced in those days as far as this art goes. But how is it now, Vasantha? How advanced are we now, and especially during this pandemic? What is the situation of Bharatanatyam today? And what is your take-home message for the young upcoming dancers of today who will be watching this?
Yes, it's interesting. I think it's a modern. I mean, every art form, according to me, evolves, and it has to evolve anyways. So I think when it evolves, there are some changes that we are ready to accept. We use the traditional methods. Like, for example, I have done more than 10 dance dramas so far presented, not only here, but in US. And I've done it in Smithsonian Museum. I've done it in many parts of the world. But what is important is not to differ in the traditions, but yes, you can actually sort of imbibe new themes. That's understandable. That's for sure. That themes have to change because of the times have changed, and the way of presenting, the way the body language expresses, you must have that divinity within you to be a good dancer, for sure. And if there is no divinity, there is no dance at all. But in today's world, what is happening is there are so many dime a dozen dancers. So to have a program, like we used to get invited by the organizers to perform. So we were very happy doing it as a performing artist. But in today's world, there are so many people dancing. So they don't know which one is good and which one is not up to the mark. The organizers are also not aware. So the people, most of the time, they make it commercial by teaching dance. So which is also, which is quite understandable, because teaching dance makes you feel that you're spreading the art. But especially now, and since you asked me about the pandemic times, I think now the times are difficult for artists. There is, I don't think inviting the artist to give a dance performance is probably the last priority of organizations. I think they do it mostly online. Um, I don't know how it works, but that's the way it goes. And I would say for the youngsters, I think the focus should be not more on robotic movements. That doesn't work. The straight lines don't work. You have to have a flow of emotion, and you have to have a flow of aesthetics to make people enjoy. That's why today you find the audience are thinning in the sabas, because people don't relate to them, and you don't relate to the audience, because it's more about your costume, it's more about your photographs, it's more about your media. Those things don't work. The dance will work only through spirituality.
So thanks, Vasantha. I think we have come to the important part of today's webinar, which is your demo. So maybe
I'll try my best.
yeah, while you get ready for that, participants, you can actually type your questions you have for Vasantha after the demo. We'll be having Anuradha Ramesh talking to us, another dancer. And after Anuradha talks, we can have the question answer session. Okay. So, Vasantha, we can go ahead with the demo now.
Yeah.
Battery 100%. Connector queue 80, 90.
So while we are waiting, participants, you can check YouTube channel and Facebook. I think Veera, you can post it there for people to go follow Vasantha and actually go and see the kind of work she's doing in lifeandliving.org. She's running an online NGO, and she has various articles, and you can also submit your articles to there. It's a wonderful website, a highly interactive website. And her YouTube channel has a number of talks. She has spoken on various topics. She's truly a multifaceted personality. So I think you can take the time to check her out, and probably you can post on Instagram handles and Facebook handles tagging Vasantha Vaikunth, hashtag Vasantha Vaikunth, hashtag life and living.
I'm ready.
Yes, let the spotlight go to Vasantha. Yeah.
மாலை பொழுதில் ஒரு மேடை மீசையே வானையும் கடலையும் நோக்கியிருந்தேன். மாலை பொழுதில் ஒரு மேடை மிசையே வானையும் கடலையும் நோக்கியிருந்தேன். மூளை கடலினையோ வளையம் முத்தமிட்டே தழுவி மகிழ்ந்து கண்டேன். மூளை கடலினையோ வளையம் முத்தமிட்டே தழுவி மகிழ்ந்து கண்டேன். மாலை பொழுதில் ஒரு மேடை மிசையே வானையும் கடலையும் நோக்கியிருந்தேன். நீல நெருக்கிடையில் நெஞ்சு செலுத்தே நேரம் கழிவதிலும் நினைப்பின்றியே நீல நெருக்கிடையில் நெஞ்சு செலுத்தி நேரம் கழிவதிலும் நினைப்பின்றியே சால பல பல நற்பகற்கனவில் தன்னை மறந்தலையும் தன்னில் இருந்தேன் மாலை பொழுதில் ஒரு மேடை மிசையே வானையும் கடலையும் நோக்கி இருந்தேன் மூளை கடலினையோ வானவளையம் முத்தமிட்டே தழுவி முகிழ்தல் கண்டேன் ஆங்க பொழுதிலே பின்புறத்திலே ஆள் வந்து நின்றனது கண்மறைக்கவே ஆங்க பொழுதிலே பின்புறத்திலே ஆள் வந்து நின்றனது கண்மறைக்கவே ஆங்கி நிற்க இரண்டும் தீண்டியறிந்தேன் பட்டுடை வீச கமல் தன்னிலறிந்தேன் வாங்கி நிற்க இரண்டும் தீண்டியறிந்தேன் பட்டுடை வீச கமல் தன்னிலறிந்தேன் ஓங்கி வரும் வகை ஊற்றிலறிந்தேன் ஒட்டும் இரண்டுளத்தின் தட்டில் இருந்தேன் ஓங்கி வரும் வகை ஊற்றிலறிந்தேன் ஒட்டும் இரண்டுளத்தின் தட்டில் இருந்தேன் வாங்கிடடி கையை ஏடி கண்ணம்மா மாய விவரிடத்தில் என்று மொழிந்தேன் மாலை பொழுதிலொரு மேடை வீசையே
That was amazing, Vasantha. That was simply superb. I can understand, the relation between the song and the dance. You earlier mentioned beautiful song, beautiful abhinaya, and I think a little more explanation from you about the song is needed for the participants.
Because I'm very attached to Subramania Bharatiyar, who was.
I think you need to be a little more audible. Can participants hear, ma'am?
Can you hear me? Yeah. You can hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit louder, Vasantha. Slightly less audible right now.
Yeah, okay. Yes. No, I think Subramania Bharatiyar is my inspiration for poetry. And the piece I took was inspiring song and done completely with the background of the piano. I just thought I didn't choose the traditional, but I did a traditional movement for a modern kind of presentation. And the meaning of this is you must know, you will know Tamil, but in case you don't, it's like on the sunset time, at the sunset time, I've been watching the waves uh, dancing and the sky above, and I also find them kissing each other. And when I saw that, I feel that I went back to my dreams, my daydreams, and I realized Kannamma, my lover, comes from the back, from behind me to close my eyes, and I tried to feel it, and then I could sense it was Kannamma because because of the fragrance that comes from her garment and her body. And Bharatiyar always, he went after the emotions and, those subtle kind of expressions. So I chose this song. You can hear it on YouTube, it's there.
It was wonderful, Vasanta. We now have a dancer, Anuradha Ramesh, who is with us, who will talk a few words appreciating Vasantha Vaikunth's talk on healing through dance. As a Rasika, this is much I can do, but we have a dancer here who will appreciate about her Vasantha's talk as well as her dance, and a little bit of introduction about Anu before I hand over the floor to her. Anuradha Ramesh is an accomplished Bharatanatyam dancer, her current guru being Acharya Chudamani Srimati Roja Kannan. And she wears several hats. A little brief introduction about what all she has done. In order to understand the therapeutic aspect of dance, she completed a study with Dr. Ambika Kameshwar on the application of dance movement in rehabilitation and self-expression at the Theatre of Holistic Development. She has released educational videos on YouTube on Abhinaya Darpanam, a text widely used by Bharatanatyam dancers. It is a visual representation of the book with translation and transliteration of the shlokas, the text. Anuradha is a founder of Culture Cues, a channel to facilitate the understanding of the culture and heritage fabric of India. We need more such people, to popularize this age-old, 2,000-year-old art form. Please follow and like her on YouTube channel. The link will be posted on the chat box. And she wears several hats. As I said, she is highly spiritual, a mother of two lovely kids. Over to you, Anu. We look forward to listen to your closing remarks in appreciation of the talk by Kalaimamani Vasantha Vaikunth. Over to you, Anu.
Thank you. Thank you, Megale. What a fantastic performance, Akka. Short and so sweet that each one of us could relate to. And it was one of the most beautiful lectures that I have heard in a very, very long time. The concept of spirituality and dance, it goes on like what you said, it's an age-old tradition. We don't even have to discuss about it, but the way you brought it out and brought out the significance of dance and the significance of the spirituality in dance was something that was amazing. The concept of constant movement, which is gati, leading to stillness within, which is sthiti, allowing the higher energy to flow within you, leading and extending to the audience that are seated in front. Isn't it a beautiful way of being, what do you say, a medium for healing and a medium for people to know what spirituality is all about. The concept of spirituality in dance is the ability to find the alignment, that source within, where there is just peace and quiet. And this is possible, like ma'am has just explained. This is only possible when all the external things like the costume and the orchestra and the auditorium and who's watching and the physical things are just dropped. You become one within yourself and you're able to dance. Such a beautiful concept brought in so beautifully by Vasantha Akka. Thank you so much. This is probably the purpose of dance, and this should be the goal of every dancer. And like what Akka said, in modern times with the dance evolving and with so many dancers that are there, this one thing should never be compromised, is what I have learned, and such a beautiful thing to take home from this particular meeting. Thank you so much, Akka. It was a pleasure all through. Thank you. Thank you, Meghalaya.
Thank you, Anu, for joining us.
Thank you, Anu.
I think we can start with the questions. Audience, if you have any questions, I think there are a couple which I will ask first. Abhirami Vivek has asked, can dancing, particularly Bharatanatyam, help in improving the nervous system? Recently I saw a video of a person who has dementia but still moves her hands sitting in a wheelchair to the music. So she wants to know about that, Vasantha.
Yes, absolutely, Abhirami. Because the nerves get calmed down. You actually, there is the music start. When the music starts, there is a kind of calmness that comes, and then there is a harmony that you bring it within yourself to perform. Like once you start dancing, you are a different person, and it connects with the chakras. As I mentioned to you earlier, all the saptaswaras are connected with the chakras. So when the saptaswaras are sung in different permutation combination, the dance, the syllables, the rhythm, and the abhinaya, everything is performed according to the chakra ability. That's why we find that not everybody can make it up there. No, I'm not talking about success in performance. I'm just talking about a beautiful aesthetic dance performance is not possible. And absolutely, there is a cure, there is a healing effect on the nerves for sure, because it's connected with your mind. And the mind gets healed, your nerves also get healed.
I think that also answers Sakina's question. It's about autism, whether dance can be used for sort of intervention for children of autism with a focus on developing the social and communication skills. I think you answered that, Vasantha, or you want to add more to that?
Absolutely true, because I know a couple of autistic children who are experts in dancing. They pick up adavas like crazy. You cannot even imagine how easily they pick up the adavas. And because of the adavas, the concentration level increases, and there is definitely a kind of improvement. It is very therapeutic, and just for therapy session, just going commercial is not the way. You have to have the passion to cure that autism. I think that's the way to do.
Yeah, thank you. We have one question from Pranava Nrityalaya. Ma'am, there are beliefs that at subconscious level, when one expresses and believes a visualization, she can dance beyond her obstacles. She is able to change her movements to a better dancing and healing in reality. I think, Vasantha, you already explained this, but you can reinforce.
I can give you a technical explanation for this. What is subconscious actually? The subconscious is nothing but a floppy that comes with your consciousness, right? When the consciousness turns from one body to another, it carries the subconscious, the floppy, that your karma, your actions, all your bodily abilities, everything you're carrying it with you. You shed the body, but the subconscious comes with you in every life that you take. And the subconscious will help you, like as you rightly mentioned, it creates a vision, and that will 100% make you go towards the art form. And that is, like we call it, destiny. But more than destiny, it is the action or the cause that you carry within yourself is the subconscious, actually.
Okay. Any other questions anybody has? You can unmute, and you can also ask your questions. Anybody? Or you can type it in the chat box.
Ma'am, this is again Shalini here from Pranava Nrityalaya.
Yeah, hi Shalini.
Hi. I just wanted to know that we've heard saying that a margam or a dance recital with a lot of heart into it is equal to certain yagas or yagnas, and it releases that kind of an energy into the chakras. I really want to know, how does that come into effect? Is there anything that ma'am has to say about that? Because I have also felt that kind of a feeling that you feel an elated energy, like ma'am spoke about it. You know, you're on a different level when the musicians and the dancers are in line with good singing and great dancing. It releases an immense power. You're actually not feeling on the ground, like ma'am said, afloated. So is that what you mean by saying it's certainly equal to certain 100 yagas or yagnas, ma'am? What do you
It
feel
is,
about?
for me, according to me, every action in life is oblation. It's a yagya. Yeah, it's an offering. And dance is an offering. You're actually, when you use dance, actually, when I started, as I said, after so many years, I revived it. I never thought I was ever going to perform on the stage. I only thought that I'm doing it for my love and passion. But things just happened to me on its own. I never went behind it. But what I experienced, my spiritual elevation, my elaboration on scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta, without studying it, for me, everything happened through dance. And as you rightly said, even Anu also mentioned about it, it's not about thinking about your external things, but it is thinking about your internal matter, like your internal feelings, your emotions, and you're dancing on the Deva Purushas and the Devis, and you merge with them. And that creates an aura around you. And that aura is the one you carry with you always. And definitely the effective way of doing it is first dance for yourself, you know,
Right.
and that's a way to do. And today, you know, when a lot of people ask me, they say that, oh, you've been dancing for so long, but you started after 20 years of gap. It's not easy. When I said, see, what had to come to me, it came to me, but I did my justice to it only by dancing for myself. I don't think I aspired for programs, but it just happened. But today, I don't want to be engaged in that kind of competition or the race, but life is diverse, right? You have to enjoy teaching. Yes, that's one part of it, but you should also enjoy creating an awareness in people. You know, the honest awareness, honest appreciation has to be done. Otherwise, you know, you have to beg to people to attend your concert. And that's a shame, according to me, you know?
Akka, can I add one more thing here,
Yes.
if you don't mind? So dance is also called a sadhana. So every
Yeah.
time you are dancing, you are actually doing a sadhana.
Yes.
And every time you practice, it is actually a path, not to the outside, but a path within yourself. So if you extend that further, every program of yours has to be a yajna where you're performing
Yes,
to
exactly.
a particular this thing. And it is very true, when all of it comes together, you are elevated to a certain different plane when you dance. And the ability of a dancer, of a great dancer, is to transfer that elevation to the audience. So it's not
Yes.
just you feeling to be in an elevated state, but also to transfer that feeling to the audience. And that's when you are the greatest of dancers.
Yeah, because like Bharata Muni says that it is your ability to transform the spirituality, spiritual elevation to the rasikas. But that's how people enjoy. Like, you know, I remember in Muscat when I used to dance, or my team, my students and me, we used to dance. We used to have more than 100 people, 1,000 people, not 100,000. 2,000 used to be my audience. But I realized that, you know, that kind of a response can come only in certain countries maybe, or with certain people. But unfortunately, the dance has taken a very different turn. Like I remember Kalanidhi Mami saying, it's like cat on the wall. We don't know which way it's going to jump. But I am very sure that this healing part of dance, this healing part of the fine arts cannot be destroyed by time. It will survive.
Am I audible? Good evening.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
Madam, a nice enlightened way of bringing Bharatanatyam into the people.
Is it Dr. Edil? Dr.
Yeah.
Edil? Welcome, doctor. She's a
I am.
leading doctor and she has, found time. She's
Thank
also
you.
a dancer,
So
by
I
the way.
was a dancer in my teens, but as you have started mentioning, the instinct to or my passion to dance and music is still in my heart. But
Yes.
physically, I am 71 and
Oh,
still
wow.
stick on to my profession. And this music also, I'm in dance also after hearing from you, and I think it will definitely motivate me a lot.
Yes, you should actually. I don't think age is a matter at all. Because I feel that what is important is staying happy. I
Mm,
find most of
yes,
the artists, whether it's a film artist or a Bollywood artist, or it is classical artist, I mean,
yes.
end of the day, I don't
That
find them
is,
very happy. I mean, you have
mm,
performed, you have done so much, you have taught so many students, but there is a kind of bitterness. What
yes.
I feel is you are the happiness from inside is so important. And unless you feel happy from within, I don't think your dance can do anything to you. The art itself cannot do anything to you,
Yeah,
you know.
very good.
And when I talk about dance itself, I'm very happy. I don't
Yes.
have to dance.
Yeah, the same thing to me also.
Yes,
Listening to people, listening to the even singing songs, I mean dance movements. My mind and I think dance with it, not my
yes,
body, but my
yes,
mind dance with the program because we have an inherent that feeling of dance features are there. I
yes.
think so. Anyway, nice meeting to you and
Thank you.
your good explanation from you and the other person. It's very nice. Thanks to Mekalai.
Thanks, Dr. Edil, for joining us in spite of your busy schedule.
No, today I was stuck in Vijay. I came by 5 o'clock after your mother reminded me.
Okay,
Thank you
nice.
very
Very
much.
nice of you.
Thank you.
Any other questions anybody has? You can unmute and ask. I think we have finished the questions on the chat box. So thank you, Vasantha.
Thanks
Thanks
a
for
lot.
spending this valuable time. There is so much to take back today. I'm sure my participants, the viewers, will also agree. There is so much of information we have to assimilate. And just what you said just now, age is just a number, right?
Yes,
That is also so
absolutely.
inspirational.
I agree.
So go ahead and go and achieve it in spite of what life throws at you. I think that's also one of the messages you're giving. And thanks, participants, for staying with us. And Vasantha, thanks for inaugurating my People's Podium.
Oh, thank you
And
so
the
much.
next session on People's Podium will be on Subramania Bharati's birthday, December 11th.
Please.
Oh,
And we have a wonderful, accomplished singer, Dr. Vijayalakshmi Subramaniam,
Yeah.
sharing her thoughts on the Mundasu coming in, as well as singing a few of Bharatiya's songs. So
Yeah.
don't miss this. Mark your calendars. Like the LBN Tech page, it will be posted there, and All Ladies League Digital Marketing Chapter. Thanks for joining in, and thanks Anu for coming at such a short notice. I know how busy you are. You're also a faculty teaching, but still you came. It was wonderful having you here. Thanks a lot, and have a lovely evening.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Megha.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a
bye.
lot.
Bye.
Bye, Vasantha.
Bye.